In 2006, humanity committed a crime. We erased a planet. Not with a rocket, not with a collision, with a vote. 24 scientists gathered in a single room and crossed Pluto off the list. They called it a dwarf, a fragment, a dead rock lost in the freezing dark. But Pluto didn't know about that decision. And when we finally sent a camera 4 billion miles into the abyss, what we found terrified us. We expected a dead rock. Instead, we found a world that had no right to exist. Mountains that don't stand, they float. Skies that bleed red snow. An ocean of poison that erases everything it touches. And at the center, a giant heart. Pale, perfect, terrifying. For 76 years, we called it a planet. Then, we threw it away. But Pluto doesn't need our list. This is the true story of the banished king. Imagine leaving Earth, not for days, not for months, for 10 years, 50,000 miles per hour, and still a decade of darkness ahead. Every week, the sun shrinks. A coin, a dot, just another star among billions in an endless black sea. By the time you reach Pluto, sunlight is over 1,000 times fainter than a cloudy winter afternoon on Earth. If you stood on its surface at noon and looked up, the sky would not be blue. It would be black. Not dusk, not evening. Absolute, eternal, freezing night, even with the sun above the horizon. And if this is the kind of content you live for, subscribe. New mysteries every week. In the summer of 2015, after nearly 10 years of flight, planetary scientists around the world held their breath, because right there, stretching across the entire equator of Pluto, was a heart, enormous, pale, perfectly symmetrical, as if Pluto had been waiting for us and left us a message. The media called it a cosmic symbol of love. Scientists were not smiling. That heart is not a symbol of love. It is a wound, an impact crater over 1,000 miles wide, deep, toxic, alive, filled with a churning ocean of frozen nitrogen, methane, and carbon monoxide. Scientists named it Sputnik Planitia, after the first satellite humanity ever launched. The one that also flew into the dark and was also forgotten. But here is what nobody expected. This glacier is not dead. It is alive. Deep beneath the surface, in a core that should have gone cold billions of years ago, a trace of radioactive heat remains. Just a shadow of warmth. But it is enough. That heat rises upward and forces the frozen nitrogen to slowly boil, churn, convect, like a pot of poisonous soup on a stove that has been burning for billions of years. And any asteroid that falls into this ocean leaves no trace. It sinks, gets pulled down, dissolves into the freezing depths, erased forever. A perfectly white sea with no scars, no memory, because it consumes everything it touches. But the true scale of Pluto lies at the edges of this toxic sea. Imagine, you are standing on the shore of Sputnik Planitia. Absolute silence. Black sky above. And then you see them. Mountains, not hills, not cliffs, walls. At minus 370 degrees Fahrenheit, ordinary water ice becomes harder than solid steel. These towers, over 10,000 feet tall, are made entirely of solid ice, jagged, razor sharp, eternal. But they are not standing still, because water ice is less dense than the frozen nitrogen beneath it. These entire mountain ranges break off and slowly drift across the toxic sea. like giant icebergs in white poison. Thoughtful. Imagine a mountain range the size of the Alps, slowly drifting toward you. And if you look closely at those floating mountains, you will notice something deeply wrong. The snow on their peaks is not white, it is dark red. When the faint ultraviolet light from the distant sun strikes the frozen methane on Pluto's surface, it triggers a chemical reaction. It creates complex organic molecules called tholins. They fall from the sky like a slow, eternal rain, coating the entire frozen landscape in a layer of dark crimson dust. Floating mountains of glass, stained red, in eternal darkness. For decades, we assumed Pluto was a frozen rock all the way to its core. But the sheer weight of Sputnik Planitia should have flipped Pluto over millions of years ago. It didn't. The only explanation: something massive is acting as a counterweight deep underground. Scientists now believe that beneath Pluto's frozen crust, there is a liquid ocean, dark, deep, kept from freezing by the pressure of ice above and a trace of heat below. In the coldest, darkest corner of our solar system, there may be liquid water, whispers. And wherever there is liquid water, one question always follows. Could something be swimming in the dark? We simply don't know. As our spacecraft sped away from Pluto, it turned its camera back one final time and captured something we never expected. Pluto eclipsing the sun, and around its dark silhouette, a thin, glowing ring. Blue. Pluto has a blue sky. One breathtaking moment of beauty before we left it behind forever. But Pluto is not alone in that darkness. Locked in a permanent gravitational dance with Pluto is its largest moon, Charon. So massive relative to Pluto that they don't orbit each other like a normal planet and moon. They orbit an empty point of space between them. A binary system, the two exiles, one eternal dance. They are tidally locked, which means if you stand on one side of Pluto, Charon is always there, enormous, unmoving, just watching you. It never rises, it never sets. Whispers, it just watches. And if you walk to the other side of Pluto, you will never see Charon at all. Charon's North Pole is stained by a massive dark red blotch, the Mordor Macula. It is gas that escaped from Pluto's own atmosphere, drifted through space, and froze onto its moon's pole. Two cosmic outcasts, sharing the same bleeding sky, holding on to each other in the deepest dark of the solar system. We may have taken away its title. We called it a dwarf, but Pluto remains a king, the undisputed ruler of the Kuiper Belt, a world of red snow, floating mountains, underground oceans, and a frozen heart that keeps beating in the dark. It doesn't need our validation. It will still be there, in its silent, ancient dance, long after our own sun burns out. We may have erased it from the list, but the universe never did. Keep looking up. Stay curious. This is Cosmic Mysteries.